The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Heavy rains are pelting the capital at this hour. The storms moved into the capital less than an hour ago after dumping significant amounts of rain in Andros, Abaco, and elsewhere. This video that you're about to see is reportedly from Andros, captured late this afternoon. Take a look.
I don't know if you guys can see this. It's hailing. The first time I've experienced this for me in Andros. Maybe I can turn it over to you. Ooh. Oh my God. Ooh. Huh? Oh my God. Huh? Yeah. Forward or back? Oh my goodness. Oh, what's up on me? Take a look. Oh my God, my goodness. Come on. Yeah, I can see right now. Oh my God, I'm never, baby, I am never. Oh my God. Baby, still in water. It's down hard. It's down hard.
Well, there you have it, just a little bit of footage for you to give you an idea. Now, of course, you all saw the severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued late this afternoon. And so welcome to the show. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Now, joining me this evening to talk about the severe storm warning or weather warning issued this evening here for the capital in the Northwest Bahamas is meteorologist Wayne Neely. Good evening to you, Wayne. And it's good. Thank you very much for joining me.
Good evening. My pleasure, Shanique.
How long is this weather expected to last? We saw that video a minute ago, and the person who took the video says it's in Andros, showing hail. Can the capital expect that type of weather?
Well, it's possible. This is time that you tend to get hail when the atmospheric differences are quite extreme, and this is what we have is a mid to upper level trough interacting with a surface air mass. And that's generating the shower activities. Typically, we have the cold fronts that come off the U.S. coast around this time. Most of them are now become very weak, and this is the season for the upper level systems, the upper level troughs. And typically, it starts in late March, early April, and that extends for the next month and a half, 2 months.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so now you're in the season, and the difference between the cold front, we have a cold front passing. Most times the rain lasts for about 4 to 6 hours at most. But with the upper level system, they tend to last a bit longer, about 3 days of rain. You tend to get from an average upper level trough, mid to upper level trough.
So now we've officially entered the rainy season.
Yeah, we've now officially entered the rainy season.
How long? And I'm not a fan, but how long is this heavy? Because after 6 this evening, we were all stunned in the newsroom to hear that rain pelting on the roof here. How long is this rain going to last?
Probably for the next 24 hours.
So the next day or so.
Yes, next day. Yeah, the upper level system tend to last a bit longer than the cold front. The weather associated with the cold fronts.
Now, we know, of course, Nassau tends to flood, very low lying in many areas. How many inches is that expected to bring?
Well, it depends on the upper level system. Depends if you get a pocket of intense thunderstorms. You can get anywhere from about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall from an average upper level trough.
Meteorologist Wayne Neely, thank you very much. Any warning you want to give to us driving these streets? We know how difficult
Just be careful out there.
that can
The
be.
streets are wet, and by me, there's a thunderstorm on now, so you should be careful in driving out there. And I wish everybody a safe ride on the streets of New Providence tonight. Thank
you so much. And if you don't have to be out, stay in. That's it. Pull up a chair, watch the show. Thank you very much, Meteorologist Wayne Neely. Talking about the severe weather, again, anything can be sort of factored in, including hail, as you saw a moment ago there in Andros late this afternoon. Well, it's a very serious issue developing in the country, one that's catching families and communities off guard. Suicides. In 2024, there were over 400 suicide attempts. This year, there appears to be more complete suicides and even more attempts if it continues on this trajectory. The latest on the island of Abaco. A 45-year-old man attempted to take his own life at Guanakee, Abaco, at his residence yesterday by reportedly ingesting a large quantity of over-the-counter medication. This comes as officials have reported a stark increase in attempted suicides, and suicides already 6 on record for the year. The victim was transported to a local clinic on the island of Abaco where he received medical attention. Well, joining me this evening are local government official Jeremy Sweeting and Pastor Ryan Forbes in Abaco. Good evening to both of you gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here on Beyond the Headlines. Jeremy, if you can turn your phone the next way so that we can see you better, that'll be great. That's it. Excellent. Good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening, Shanique.
Good evening.
I'm happy to have a government representative in terms of the government makeup and local government of Abaco, and of course a man of the cloth who can perhaps bring a different perspective to what's happening. Can you both say Abaco appears to be leading the islands in attempted suicides just for this year already? What do you suppose is driving men and women to want to end and take their lives? Just jump in.
Well, Shanique, there's a lot of challenges. Firstly, a pleasant good night, and it's good to be here all the way from Abaco, and thank you for this opportunity. But there's a lot of challenges all around, not just Abaco in particular. And when it comes to suicide, one is always too much. There are people out there who've lost hope, who are facing challenges that drives them right to the edge and the last straw, and they don't have no way out. They haven't found an outlet of how they can get out of their misery. So it is in that regard that they see an outlet as suicide and taking their lives. Persons with mental health problems, persons who might be bullied, prejudice, persons with who experience abuse, maybe individuals who are grieving.
Let's dissect that a bit, and Jeremy, you can jump in as well. Let's talk about the challenges. What challenges are you referring to, Pastor Forbes, on the island of Abaco that men and women feel as though there's just no way out but to go and end it all?
Absolutely. For every case, there's a different reason. So it's not the same straight across the board. But some individuals, they have financial challenges. They have challenges sometimes with mental health. Sometimes persons are being bullied. Sometimes it's a result of drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of different factors that persons go through. Sometimes it can be even your sexual identity. Sometimes individuals are disabled and they feel that life is no longer worth living. Challenges in the home, challenges with isolation, challenges with being lonely. So there's so many factors. Depression, of course, is a very important one as well. So there are so many different factors that people face. And then as a result of them, thinking, maybe this is my only outlet to leave this state of misery.
Jeremy, you have a better perspective than the rest of us here in terms of what's happening on Abaco in the misery index. Is there a high level of unemployment? Are people underemployed? What's happening in that regard?
Well, obviously, I'm sure there's some that's unemployed. Two of these recent, one actual suicide, and then the recent suicide attempt was both in a township that's within the confines of my district. Two was within Guanakee within the last 3 weeks. One was a actual suicide. The other one just yesterday was an attempted suicide. And it's very sad. And as Mr. Forbes said, it could be a number of reasons that persons are desperate and that they're end of their rope. You know, it could be financial. It could be a financial case. Or I know, you know, in small communities, there's a lot of talk. Some were saying maybe this one individual, you know, they had a medical issue and they were in severe pain and they just couldn't take the pain anymore. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. But the point is, as Mr. Forbes said, one suicide is too many. And I think as a community, as government leaders, religious leaders, we need to let our constituents and our people know, you know, and we should be able to do whatever we can. And I'm proposing in local government to see if it's something that even our council could do to bring someone in, a psychiatrist, you know, where persons who are facing mental health crisis, where they could get help, because mental health is a serious thing. And we've come a long way in the last 20, 30 years, where 30 years ago, a lot of people just shrugged that aside. Now today, a lot of people are more educated or more accepting to the fact that mental health is a real thing, and it's a real illness, and you know, it needs addressing just as much as a physical illness.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, we must normalize that word, mental health, and we must normalize the word psychology or psychiatrist, psychologist, because those are the people who are equipped to help us. I'm happy that you went to mental health, because that is where I was going. From a local government perspective, obviously that is an area that you are zeroing in on, because you are about to lobby that you bring someone to the island who can make themselves available to people who need it. And you hate to single out certain people, because really at the end of the day, we all do. And so what else are you going to do with the different districts in terms of saying, listen, let's come together and help save Abaco? Something is happening here that is not desirable, and we must get a hold of it before it just become a runaway train. Both of you can respond to that.
Well, I'll just say this. We had a group in Abaco some years back that's gone defunct. It was called the Abaco Chief Councillors Association, because in local government we have 7 districts, 7 local government districts. I mean, obviously on the parliamentary level we have 2 constituencies, but in local government it's 7 districts and 7 chief councillors. So the 7 chief councillors would meet every quarter to discuss issues that pertain to the island of Abaco as a whole. And that association kind of went defunct, and you know, it's not as you know, it hasn't really been operating. I want to see that you know, basically brought back into play, because this issue right now could be something that we could address as chief councillors representing the entire island of Abaco, to see if we can bring in a mental health professional to help persons in the community. Anyone that put in a bulletin to say if anyone within the community needs help, you know, just contact your local government office and we could try and get help for you. Because can't say it enough, but like Pastor Forbes said, one suicide's too many. I actually have a friend who doesn't reside in my district. He resides in the mainland, a very close friend of mine, and he confided in me about a month ago that, you know, something that I never knew, and he mentioned the fact that he's been suicidal for sometimes, just had a rough patch, you know, several years, and I didn't know that he was that low, and I tried to encourage him and speak life and words of encouragement, and to let him know that he does have great worth, and that you know, he has a lot of great friends out there that think a lot of this individual. And I, in the strongest possible terms, I said, don't do anything to harm yourself, you know, and if you need help, let me know.
Yeah.
And I think he's in a much better place now than he was a few months ago.
That's good that you did that and extended yourself that way, because people need to know that sometimes it's just a moment. And yeah, and not literally a moment, but a moment in terms of your whole entire lifespan, that you're feeling this way, and not to make that permanent decision on something so temporary. I want to ask you, gentlemen, many are pointing the finger at perhaps the pandemic and this sort of like after effect, the reverberation, the ripples in the ocean from the pandemic. Would you attribute what's taking place to the pandemic, some sort of delayed reaction or response?
Well, that is one of the things, and that is another, possibility. You have that, you have the result of Hurricane Dorian with all of the destruction and people who've lost so much and haven't caught themselves, and then here comes the pandemic afterwards. So there are additional factors of what can be the underlying reason of why individuals come to this unfortunate place. I think what Jeremy Sweeting said was most certainly awesome observation. With having a psychiatrist come to the island, in addition to that, I think champion the awareness for the general public. I think is tremendously important. In addition to that, we have the crisis center in Abaco as well. We have social services. Okay. And then, of course, persons who might not be as professional, like pastors and other community leaders as well, that can offer hope, messages of hope. And encourage individuals and help individuals to get to that place where even if they need to be referred, there's professionals in place who they can be referred to. I think we have to come back to that place in Abaco where we are brothers keeper, sisters keeper. We are there for our neighbors. Pastors are there for their community. Churches are there for their community. Programs in place to help to assist these challenges and these concerns. And then as Mrs. Sweeting talked about, an association or a committee to be able to champion this, not just on the Keys, but also on the mainland, to be able to assist in any way that we possibly can to make it effective so that anyone who is thinking of going along those lines, they know, hey, this is an avenue where I can go. This is a place where I can go to get this help and to get this assistance to make it more ideal for our community.
Pastor Forbes, before I ask Jeremy to speak from a local government perspective on the same question, what can the church do in Abaco? That's a collective question. The collective church in Abaco to help be available to people who have issues, who find themselves struggling. What more can the church do, including you, a pastor?
Absolutely. So when I served as senior pastor, First Assembly of God, one of the things we did was put out to the general public the services that we offer. And one of those services is for myself to be able to counsel individuals in our community, give individuals hope, persons who are grieving, persons who are hurting, persons who are facing challenges. No matter what it was, our doors was always wide open for you to come and for you to just air out, even if you just need a listening ear. If you needed someone to pray with you, if you needed counseling, if you needed advice, whatever it was, to have your doors open and let the community know that you're open, that you're available, and that you're in place and in position if anyone needs to come. And also producing an environment that is trustworthy, but for people to have confidence in, which is very important. There's a lot of times in the community, people have a challenge with trust, and you have to ensure that you have an environment that is conducive for individuals to come to you and offer those, to be able to express themselves so that you can offer the actual service that is needed. So I think that is very important as well. I think congregations can also encourage individuals to go and speak to their pastor, and encourage individuals as well of other, outlets that individuals can go to, crisis center, social services, or whatever have you. And so I think that is tremendously important along those lines as pastors and church leaders,
yes.
Officers of the church to be able to offer those services.
Yes, absolutely. And Jeremy, you already said what it is you intend on doing as the chief local government official in your area, but what else can local government do to help shine a light on this and then to normalize it so people don't feel somehow alienated to say, oh, you have a mental health issue?
Well, first of all, just before I get into the local government, I'd also like to kind of piggyback off of what Pastor Forbes with the Christian component of this, and as a man of faith myself, we have to realize that it is a demonic attack on these individuals, when Satan, plays into the minds and into the mental health of an individual. As the scripture says, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
And so we also need to involve religious leaders and leaders of different Christian denominations in this situation. But we also, as local government, we need to create a social awareness and a community outreach to spread the word and encourage people. If you're going through a situation, if you're going through a mental illness, don't keep this to yourself. Reach out to your pastor, and that's something. Or reach out to us in local government. We could help get you some medical assistance, and that's where I think local government could help, because we do have access to a lot of social media networks that go throughout the community. We are different WhatsApp groups that most community members are on. We have our own Facebook page and what have you. But so a lot of the things that we send out within our communities, whatever it might be, whatever the issue might be, it gets very quickly into a good majority of the community, and they see different things that we put out there.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Of course, these are community leaders on the island of Abaco, local government representative Jeremy Sweeting, Pastor Ryan Forbes, speaking on the uptick in suicides and attempted suicides on the island of Abaco. Very concerned this evening. Thank you both for speaking with me, and of course, our thoughts and prayers are with Abaco and the rest of the country that we get this in hand. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Absolutely. Have a good evening. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this break.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You heard what they say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Enjoy zero-down financing on your next visit to Montague Motors. Our selection of cars come included with license, inspection, and a 3-month warranty. And with our easy 24 hours financing, you will be on the road in up to 48 hours. What makes Montague Motors different? We inspect our cars in Japan, providing you with the best quality purchase. Visit Montague Motors today, number 6 Village Road. Call or check our Facebook page for more information.
Do you ever just want More? But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed risotto. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco's! Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting Tingsy.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, we're going to pick up right where we left off at the end of the first segment, still on the worrisome topic of suicide, the trend that's gripped the nation. A pastor from Abaco is speaking out tonight, and he shared some of his thoughts and concerns with Jose Etienne. Here is that story.
Two recent suicide attempts in Abaco renewing widespread concern about residents fighting silent battles that often force them to make tough decisions. The most recent incident happened on Monday in Guanaqui. Police say a 45-year-old man ingested a large quantity of over-the-counter medication but was taken to a clinic. And just hours before that, in Pelican Shores, a 79-year-old man nearly took his life after self-inflicting injuries to his abdomen with a sharp object. He was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, but here's why Bishop Silbert Mills believes the elderly man wanted to end it all.
There were health issues, and they were going through, periods of pain when medications were not kicking in. The pain just gets so great on these individuals that they feel that the best way to end it is to end the suffering.
What's of even greater concern is the number of residents in Abaco attempting to commit suicide. Just last month, an adult male had to be taken to clinic after reportedly consuming a large quantity of alcohol on February 10th.
That should never be the option. There is a way out.
But some might argue that Abaconians could be wrestling with mental issues stemming from enduring Hurricane Dorian in 2019 that left in its trail lifeless bodies and total destruction.
7 years where we would be removed from that after Dorian. As far as I'm aware, all of these cases are linked in some way or another to health of the individuals.
In light of what's brewing in Abaco, the church leader says he and others are availing themselves with local government officials early next week to provide support for those who find themselves in hopeless situations.
Talk to us. Find someone that you trust to talk to so that you can make a decision that's better than trying to end it all. Because when you end it all, you don't have an opportunity to say, I wish I didn't do it.
Meanwhile, mounting concerns of suicide attempts in Abaco also come as the country's capital grapples with an uptick in suicides this year, with the total standing at 8. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, I just got word from one of the community leaders in Abaco that there have been 3 attempts so far this year and 1 complete suicide. And so we're going to jump in right there just for a response from my panelists this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
It's good to have you both here. Your thoughts on, we see, of course, the challenges Abaco is having, but it's something that has become all too familiar. We see reports of attempted suicide or even, unfortunately, complete suicides. Your thoughts on just how Bahamians are looking in this direction, in something this country has not been known for before now?
Shanique, I think there's it's unfortunate, that what Abaco has been through, over the years, especially with Hurricane Dorian. And I'm pretty sure, on some of those persons who would have tried to commit suicide, that might be one of the driving factors. But, I think there's a lot of other things when you look at an island that has, and especially with inflation, a lot of things going on in our economy. A lot of people are going through, going through rough times. So, you would think that an island like that is still trying to grow, and it's, you're trying to get people back in there and build an economy that, is not easy, being in Abaco and being able to, go through the trying times that we're going in, especially when you see the cost of some of the things, in terms of our bread basket items, so I mean, one would, we're feeling it here, so you can imagine what Abaco is, a place like Abaco is going through.
I think it's most unfortunate that we are now resorting to taking our lives instead of trying to wake things up. But I think in Abaco in particular was so dangerous and so damning from Hurricane Dorian. And also COVID, a double whammy on our country's citizens, that it had a damning effect. Because if you look at all the rapes of little girls that's been happening in the country today, there's one in the newspaper today where a 31-year-old man, a pastor now, was fooling around with an 11-year-old girl for the past few years. We don't have the answers. And there's so many different reasons why someone would wish to leave this world in the manner in which they do. For example, in Abaco, as Mike said, the cost of living has skyrocketed to such an extent that many people cannot afford to live in a one-bedroom house. In Stapleton Gardens, it's $2,000 a month for a two-bedroom. It's unheard of. The pressure that is put on the average everyday Bahamian. And it's difficult for them to go ahead in life. I'm not knowing whether we should buy food or pay BEC for the light bill or make the car payment. My kids are in school. The father can't be found because he's been over there a long time ago. There's just this abundance of pressure, but unfortunately, in many cases, it's as much male as females that are attempting to commit suicide. So there's this serious problem, mental problem on both sides of the aisle.
And if you look at it, there's so many things that play a factor in it. You look at, you're talking about rent, you're talking about, you seen the other day where I think talking about bank fees, the high mortgage rates, the interest rates, I think there's more that can be done in those areas where we can try to see if we can lessen the burden in terms of persons who are holding mortgages, whether it be seeing how we could try and reduce interest rates. Because at the end of the day, as you continue to move things, whether it be electricity costs, fees in terms of bank rates, all that's passed on down to the consumers. And we see things where, the high increase in rent, high increase in and I see people paying weekly housing, whereas they're paying $200 a week. And
very difficult.
It's very difficult. I mean, it's unfortunate people are, driving themselves to the point where they want to take their life. I mean, I know things could be rough, but I think, we need to try and see what we can do. I'm all in our own collective mind in terms of how we can help each other.
Our social service network need to be adjusted to the times that we live in. I think more people probably need to be on the streets looking into these depressed areas, see how these people really run their daily lives. Because I'm telling you, I can take you through some areas in this country that would bring tears to your eyes, the way some of our people are living and have been living.
But you realize sometimes you have people who really need the help, who are too prideful to go and try seek help from social services. But then you have those who go to social service and don't need the help, and they are being given the kit and caboodle, and you have those out there who are really, really in need. But
I guess it needs to be a better sort of vetting of the system of people who try to enter the system, and even if they get through, because you don't know when a need is real or not from the outset. But once the investigation happens and you find that these people are tricking the system, then they are made to pay back or face punishment.
And in addition to that, some of the tragedies that they face on a daily basis, the spouse, one of the spouses may have died. The people live in a decent house, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, may have a small mortgage left, but the husband departed this life unexpectedly. The mother with 2 or 3 children, she goes to social services. They send the assessors out there and they do an assessment. And in many cases, if they see the person living above the lifestyle that they live, the person who does the assessment will refuse to assist them. I've had it in many cases. In fact, if I go on the street, that's one of the major complaints, that on social services, they're already looking for the average behemoth that says that they have a problem when they go and assess the home. The home is in good condition, and they take that as an avenue to deny people the help that they really need, because you can't look at a person's house and say that they don't have a need if they lost a loved one.
Yeah.
That may have been the key homemaker for the family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just
Gentlemen, I want to move
know,
on quickly because we have a lot to get to. Leslie, also, there's a follow-up from a statement you made on Friday, I think it was, that you feel that you are in such great shape that you should throw your hat in the ring. Well, my dear, people were listening and watching, and they took you up on it. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's look at this LNG row. No, you said it. Don't back out now.
That was part of the reason.
Don't backpedal. Not the race you run almost every Saturday. I'm talking the election. But listen,
the walk he's running.
The walk he's run. That's it. Listen, gentlemen, I want to talk about this LNG row that seems to be simmering somewhere. You know, opposition leader Michael Pintard is being really taken to task for his opposing of the LNG deal, and by no other than I think the person who is at the head of the LNG deal, Sir Franklin Wilson, who says that call Pintard immature and petty and foolishness, his opposition to it. Gentlemen, your thoughts? I mean, there are so many varying points of view on this, and in terms of, okay, they got the LNG deal, they signed it. Your thoughts on these war words?
You know, I think Shanique, it boils down to one thing. Is it the best deal for the country? You know, I think that's what it seemed as though the opposition leader is trying to get to. We know that I don't think there was any type of tender that went out as relates to this particular deal. If there is any, I haven't heard of any. But I think at the end of the day, is it the right deal for the Bahamian people? Are we getting the savings that we're really going to see at the end of the day in our pockets, whereas though we can afford to turn our AC on, leave our lights on, and run whatever it is that we need, and still walk back at the end of the month and pay, whether it be a $50 or $100 bill. You know, I've spoken, you know, me and Mr. Miller had questions about, you know, what are the savings when there was certain things, you know, when LNG deal came to the table somewhat 20 years ago. And, you know, in terms of what the savings would have been then. And it doesn't seem, to me, when you look at it, doesn't seem to add up in a way, in terms of what we would have saved, the savings we would have seen then and what we see now. You know, one would ask, you know, should we be seeing higher numbers, whether it be $180 million a year or whatever the number might be. You know, and then I see there's also an article in the paper from from Ernst & Young, or I think it was, who said that, you know, BPL has lost $1 billion, $980-something million over the past, from 2003 to now. You know, and one would ask, you know, can we continue to, you know, carry on in such a manner, whereas though we're not looking at cutting costs? You know, this is all in their report. You know, either we need to look, and the same thing with the government spending. We need to look at cutting costs. We just can't continue to borrow, spend, and not look at how do we cut costs in any organization, that being government or BPL. So, I mean, I think it all boils down, is it the best deal for us, and when are we going to see the cost savings inside our pockets?
You know, it really pains me greatly that the late greats Lyndon, Oscar Pillin, Arthur Dion Hanna, Carlton Francis, and the other leaders that we had in our country, unsuccessful Wallace Whitfield, God bless him, had in mind that the time, they were waiting for this time to come when the people of the Bahamas would have an agreement with an oil-producing country in this hemisphere. When I was appointed as Minister of Trade and Industry, and the team would be put together, David Davis, thank him every day, Mr. Deal, Harvey Morris, and the others that we put together. The company was AES. We're going to put this regasification terminal right off Bimini. The deal was set with Florida Power and Light to go to Turkey Point. And we worked like hell for 2.5, 3 years to get the best deal that was possible on behalf of the average working Bahamian people. We went to all the countries in this hemisphere that had similar plans. We looked at the pitfalls that they went through, look at the funds that they were getting from it, and the revenue to be derived by those governments everywhere that had a plant. We came up with a final agreement that the people of the Bahamas was going to receive $1.2 billion from granting that license to AES to transfer LNG to that terminal in Florida. $1.2 billion over 20 years. They were also going to retrofit 60% of BEC engines at Clifton to receive the LNG. A ship was built primarily for the Bahamas, Haiti, Cuba, and some of the smaller countries in the region that could receive LNG. Unfortunately,
retrofit at a cost to us?
Zero. Unfortunately, most of those who are on the front line now that are so happy and hitting each other on their backs for what they achieve was against it. And we had one of our colleagues who was a member of parliament, God bless him. You know, it was just one of those things. I made a decision when the deal was not closed on behalf of the people of our country. The reduction on the cost of electricity was going to be 60% reduction for the LNG terminal. Right on Clifton, we was going to put one on Abaco to service all the cruise ships.
Yep.
Everything was in place, but we couldn't get the others to go along with us. We couldn't get the government, which I was a part of.
And Leslie,
And
here
there were
you
so many
have,
detractors
what,
that
20
really
years later,
run us in the ground.
they bring the deal back and the deal is now signed and moving.
But this is where the question
we lost
comes.
$1.2 billion.
What is it, like Mr. Miller stated, 60% savings in our pockets in terms of on our bills. What are the numbers? What are we going to see? Because we keep talking about we'll see a reduction, but nobody has given what are the reductions that we should see, whether it be 30%, 40%, 50%. You know, if you're saying average bills are $200, you'll see a $100 bill. Whether it be, you know, this deal is going to take 2 years to put in place, and you should expect to see that 2 years from now. There should be some plan in place in terms of we should have some idea when we should see the cost savings. I mean, people are tired of hearing cost, you know, reductions.
Listen, we were more than transparent in our deliberations to the Bahamian people, eh? Yeah. But the groups were gathered against us because people who are there today were at the table trying to do it themselves without our knowledge and without the consent of the government. It's just a situation I am.
And I guess this is where you have the chosen few
and the times that we live.
You know,
that part, the chosen few.
And that's why I made a conscious decision not to go back in cabinet.
The ones who will always be at the table and those who will be on the outside looking in through the windows trying to see. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I want to apologize to the people for
not
being able to pull it off on your behalf.
Well, Leslie, that's it. Let me tell you, but let's just keep this moving because I have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at some politics and what's going on there. This is Beyond the Headlines. Back in a moment.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production, Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where is this Saturday the 29th of March?
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info,
visit Ticket Flare
Air or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel go did it.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands, like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry commercial vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to get into a little bit of politics with the time we have remaining. Let me just jump right in. Here is a message from a South Beach resident constituent, right? Good afternoon, Ms. Miller. I watched the rerun of Beyond the Headlines. I saw where Mr. Miller said he might try his hand and run again. Can you please tell him, come to South Beach? I know the people will welcome him with open arms because from what I'm seeing and hearing, the people are tired of the present MP. I know for a fact Potcake will get my vote. Leslie, the people are calling for you in South Beach, it appears. What's happening with, you talked about this MP before, though.
Mm-hmm. Which MP is this?
Parker's Roll. What's going on with him in South Beach?
He's out there campaigning.
No, he campaigning now, we know that. What has he been doing in the last 4 years?
I think he's got a lot done on behalf of the people. He's the junior minister in the Ministry of Works. You got to keep working. I got to keep telling them, do your job. But I won't be running again, not in this lifetime.
You don't tease the people though. Michael, you were here. He teased the people.
You can't get the people excited then all of a sudden.
Leslie said, he exercises so much, he feels he's in great shape. He should run again.
That ain't
well, that's a quiet. You lost for words.
Very quiet. You've never been this silent,
Leslie.
Leslie.
To be very lost for words.
Yeah, you've never been.
The rest of my life is dedicated to my grandchildren, my precious daughters, my sons, and those my loved ones. That's it for me. I'll be an advocate for the Bahamian people as long as I live. God put breath in my body to see to it that they get a fair shake in this country, that they are not maligned by those who have more economic and political power and the average Potcake, which constitute 65% of the Bahamian people. We decide who win and who lose. I keep warning them of that. And there's a hell of a lot of potcakes out there that's angry right now, but I think we'd be okay once you show us the right pathway to the future.
Does the PLP deserve a second term in office, Michael?
Like I said, I mean, we've seen what has panned out, I think, over the years, and I think it's up to the Bahamian people. At the end of the day, it's up to the Bahamian people. I think there's a lot to be done, and I think, no political party should play politics when it comes to the livelihood of Bahamians. In terms of, you wait till the last couple of years to start doing things for Bahamians. When you are elected to power or to govern, you need to start governing from day one. And I think that is what the Bahamian people deserve. They will decide if the PLP will be given another chance in the next general election, but it's definitely a big question mark there.
Leslie?
I think Mr. Davis has done his best with the team that he has around him. There's a lot more work, like Mike said, that needs to be done. I think we need to get into the hearts and minds of the average Bahamian, especially the Bahamian women, that they can have faith and confidence in those who were put in the halls of Parliament to represent them to the best of their ability. I think all of those MPs, that's FNM and PLPs, need to get back into their respective areas and do your job. If not, you're going to be sent home. And the time that they're going to do is from 6 to 6 on election night, 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. So all I could advise you all to do your job. I've run in 6 elections straight, but no more for Potgate.
These people, politicians forget that they work for the people. And everyone that walks around, they got a little sign. I always say this from since I was a little boy. And I told a member of parliament who was elected, I told him, you have a sign on the back of your back and it says you too can be replaced. Because a lot of them walk around as though that they are the end all and be all. And if you don't come to them, there's nothing going to happen. And then at the end of the day, like Mr. Miller said on a couple of shows ago, if you don't get your act together, you better park the government car and go buy yourself a little jalopy. And when you see election day, you better get ready to jump in that. And this is what might happen in the next general election. But a lot of the current member of parliaments have to clean up their act. You represent the people. You work for the people. It seems as though we get this twisted at times in our head that hey, once I get elected, forget the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think many MPs on both sides need to appreciate the fact that the people have given them an opportunity to represent them in the halls of Parliament. You got to take it seriously. You work for and on their behalf, and failure to do so, they will send you back in the wilderness. It's as simple as that. And all I say to all of you, do your job. But remember that the small man is there for a reason. He's the one who called the shots. The muckamucks and those who doing better than some of us are doing and not as good, they represent all of us. But it's the small man that makes or breaks a government. And let me tell you something. If you neglect the women, they're going to neglect you. And once they turn their back on you, dog eats your lunch. Remember that.
One thing,
will take you over.
And what you have to realize, we have an electorate that's becoming smarter and smarter. It's not, the way that people used to vote some 20 years ago when my mommy and daddy tell me I should vote this way.
Don't happen.
That doesn't happen anymore. And that's why we've seen such a consecutive, constant shift.
In 30 years.
It's just back and forth, flip back and forth. And it's not the way it used to be. And I think a lot of politicians believe that once they go to a household and they get a hold of one individual, everybody else will follow suit.
No, sir.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Nothing can be further from the truth.
So you either get with it or you
all got to listen to those who have been there and do your best.
Well, I know we have very soon have the discussion of really look, very in a very fair, balanced way, but a real way, and not at all mincing words of who is performing. I mean, who is out there now stumbling and trying to make up for their neglect over the last several years since the term began.
3.5 years is gone now.
Yeah. Who is there hurting and trying to make up versus those who are just coasting along because they have never left. Certainly, I think that's a discussion that needs to be had. But gentlemen, I thank you all very much. At the top of tonight's show, thank you to Wayne Neely, meteorologist, for the latest on the weather. Thank, of course, the pastor and local government representative from the island of Abaco. Thank you. And, of course, here in this segment, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Thank you to both of you as well. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening and your messages, all of it, for being very active and interactive in the show. Thank you very much. It's good to have you watching. Look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.